one of the discussions that's always prevalent this time of year, who's on the roster bubble. And I read an article today about 3 Niners that they're considering on the roster bubble. And I'll just give you the name and you tell me if he makes it or if he's moving on. Okay.
Hmm.
Ambry Thomas. Ambry Thomas. He had a nice little bounce back year in 2013. He came into the lineup in the Jacksonville game in week 10. He played 86 total snaps prior to that, played 46 snaps. He had an on and off role leading to the Super Bowl where he only logged 1 snap in the Super Bowl. He had the playoff clinching interception against the Rams in 2021, and then it kind of fell apart. I mean, he's been very inconsistent. Niners took him in the 3rd round. They've added a number of young players, both in free agency and the draft, in at the corner. Ambry Thomas. What do you think? Is he on the bubble? Is he going to make the roster? Is he going to miss? What do you think?
He's cooked. He's going to be done, Larry. He's going to be out. They're going to cut him. Listen to the thing. The Niners have a lot of depth at cornerback. They added a lot of
They do.
corners, you said, in the draft, free agency. I mean, they got so many corners now. Darrell Luter from last year who didn't even get a chance to play. So I feel like the word you used is so perfect on every time. He's very inconsistent. The man, some days he shows flashes, right? Some days you're like, oh, maybe I keep him. I know people want him to keep for depth. This secondary battle is going to be one of the biggest battles of the offseason. I can't see Ambry Thomas getting all the way to the end and pulling into this roster. I don't see it. There's too many good corners on this team. I mean, the rookie Renardo Green's probably going to be better than him off the bat. And this is the thing. Ambry Thomas just doesn't practice well. If you've been to all the training camps and you watch Ambry Thomas, sometimes you're scratching your head. The other thing, last year, he was
He's
safe.
he's he's pretty athletic though. He's in a lot
He
of ways
is.
he's the
He
physical
is.
prototype. He's
But
just
he's
very
terrible
inconsistent.
on the field. He's very inconsistent. And you know what? Again, there's a lot of corners to compete with. I just don't see him beating out some of those guys. And last year, my last point, Steve Wilks was his guy. Steve Wilks saved him. Steve Wilks isn't walking through those doors this year, Larry. So he's gone. He gone.
He gone. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he gone.
Oh wow.
Ambry
All
Thomas.
right. We'll stay at corner. Samuel Womack. Womack started at times in 2022. He was the Niners' primary nickel corner. And then last year, or by the end of 2022, he was only on special teams. I like him. He's a good kid. He's a 3rd-year corner from Toledo. This is a really talented player who's going to face some serious competition for his roster spot.
Yeah.
He's allowed 17 catches on 23 attempts in his career. It's in a limited number of snaps. He had 7 defensive stops and registered an 85.3 tackling grade, according to PFF, which speaks to his tackling acumen. That's a pretty good tackling grade. I like Womack. I think Womack, if they cut Womack, I guarantee you, the same way I guarantee you that Deshaun Jameson was going somewhere else and was going to play and play well. He went to Carolina, had a nice year. If they can't figure out how to get Womack a roster spot and how to keep him on the field, somebody else will, and it's going to be the Niners' loss. This guy's a good NFL caliber corner. They just can't coach him up and get him out there. I mean, it's just, my goodness, how do you quit on a kid with this kind of athleticism and talent?
Good player. Very good. Very talented. Injuries have hurt him, unfortunately, through his first 2 years. Again, depth is going to be crazy at cornerback. The competition, it's going to me, it's going to be very close on Womack. I think they can afford, I feel like he'll be on the practice squad when it's all said and done. But I see what you're saying. He's talented, where if they cut him, somebody might add him onto the roster. I can see that. But I think ultimately it's going to be hard for him to make that roster. You got, okay, Diamo Lenore and Mooney Ward. Guaranteed guys right there. Renardo Green, that's 3. Darrell Luter probably makes it, that's 4. And then you got a battle. Yeadam. They got who's the other guy they signed?
Rock Sin, they got
Rocky
Renardo
Sin.
Green. I
Renardo, yeah.
mean,
So it's gonna be close. I think Womack could make it. It's just gonna be one of those, like, how many corners are they gonna bring? Are they gonna bring 5 or 6? Is he better than Rocky Sin, who he could be because
I think he's better
younger?
than Rocky
I think
Sin.
he's better. But then, do they want a veteran over a young guy? It's going to determine on. It's going to depend on a lot of factors. Preseason is going to really determine some of those guys.
Well,
I
and
feel like
injuries. I mean, Lenore. I mean, okay, Mooney, Lenore, Yadam. I think those are probably your top 3 guys right now.
probably, and
But
then Renardo Green and
then
Darrell Luter.
you've got Womack and Renardo. So that's the top 3. Then you got Womack, Renardo Green, Ambry Thomas, Darrell Luter, Chase Lucas, Rock Ya-Sin. You know, that's 6 more corners right there for what, 3 spots?
It's going to be very close. He'll be on the bubble. If he has a good preseason, Larry, he'll make the roster. Because he could play special teams, too. He's a very good special teamer. And it also depends, is Renardo Green going to be good enough to take that slot spot, the nickel spot? So it depends. I think it'll be very close, and it's going to come down to preseason. I want him to make the roster because I think he's a very talented player.
Everybody hit like and subscribe. If you hit like, more people find the show in the algorithm. If you hit subscribe and you click that notification bell every time we go live, you'll get a little notification that we're going live. You don't have to miss any of it. We got this one from the chat. Tammy McDaniel, Larry, Stephon Gilmore's out there. Would you pick him up? I wouldn't. I mean, if this were 2021, I would, but it's 3 years makes a big difference. I'm not interested in him.
He's my age. You don't need it.
He's not. I mean, that's not what I'm looking for. And first of all, they don't need a corner. They don't need a corner right now. And he wouldn't be the guy that I would pick up if I did need a corner. But I think they're good. I think they're good. Kenny here says, bro, Yadam is very good. Yeah. They also said Ford Niner Media says they also have Chase Lucas.
Yeah.
So that's also a good point. So no, I think they're in a good spot. All right, third guy, Cam Latu. He redshirted last year. He was awful in camp. Yet the Niners have the tight end 2 position. It's wide open. There's Braden Willis. There's Mason Pline. There's obviously the guy they just signed from Arizona, who's a pretty good player, veteran player in Logan Thomas. You also have Jake Tongues, Eric Saubert. So, I mean, that's the mix. Goodbye, Warner. He's gone. Goodbye, Dwelly. I think this is going to be George Kittle, Braden Willis, and Mason Pline. I think the rest of these guys are going to get cut. But what do you think? Latu definitely is more athletic than a lot of tight ends in the NFL. I mean, you're talking about 6'4", 250, moves well, former linebacker. There's a lot to like about Latu when you just study the physical skill set. Then you watched him last summer, Raj, and he was a train wreck. What do you think? Is Latu going to bounce back? And we've seen guys have bad camps, and they just, speed was too fast. They get a chance to catch their breath, and it's a totally different deal. What do you think?
He gone. He's going to get cut. This is a
guy.
He gone. No,
Raj, you're in a real unique mood tonight. You're running guys out of here left and right.
You want me to put the rose-colored glasses, my faithful goggles, the faithful?
No, I want you to be real. If this is how you feel, damn it! If this is how you feel, this is how you feel.
I'm gonna tell you. You think I'm gonna sit here and say, Cameron Latu's gonna turn around? He's gonna get mentally over to him. No, he couldn't even show up to minicamp. Kyle was pissed. He says he needs to show up and practice. He couldn't even make minicamp. This guy can't catch a cold. They signed old tight ends because this draft pick they had last year, 3rd round pick, by the way, isn't living up to. I know he's athletic, but don't mean nothing if you can't catch anything. Larry, he's getting cooked out of this roster. He's
athletic. Go to LA workout. Go to LA workout and do curls if you're that athletic.
We're not talking about Planet Fit. He might make the practice squad because he needs practice.
That guy's going to be the king of crunch. He may not make the Niners, but he's going to dominate at crunch.
You know what Kyle wants him to practice? The perfect place for him is the practice squad. That's it. That he's gone to practice squad. That's it.
I think the competition's too severe. I think he's not going to make it.